It's a bit much.
It's too late. We're committed.
It's real fucking warm.
Yep, it's gonna be a hot one, just like it was in Iraq.
I was just saying like it was today. That's true. Heat advisory is stupid. Anyway, hello everybody, and welcome to the first episode of a new year of Dudes Watch a Movie video podcast. Not the greatest start, but before we get into things, I am Ted Sprocket, joined by my co-host and usually other host, Notorious GING. And so welcome to this month's theme of July. It's July, and you guys picked America movies.
USA.
And needless to say, we tried to look for some ones that were good, because honestly, I've seen a lot of them, but kind of wanted to go with our format of not having seen something, or seeing something we have not seen, whereas, I stick to the rules. But
this has been like an ongoing, reoccurring segment on this
gonna,
of you pretending that there was a rule.
I'm going to keep pretending that there are rules.
Okay.
It's kind of what I meant. It says it in the group. I have to follow the format.
I don't think anyone gives a fuck.
Yeah, probably not at all. Anyway, so the movie we watched is The Wall, starring...
No, you're still holding on. Let go. I was Ben Swallow, Sorry. Go ahead. Oh my god, I can already feel the sweat coming. It's so hot in here.
So warm in here.
We should have kicked on the AC before and let that room cool out. But I mean, I feel like it's gonna make us feel like,
we're there.
Well, I won't go that far. I don't want to have any accusations of stolen valor.
That's true.
I don't want to joke around about that shit, but
But yeah, no, I wanted to say starring John Cena, but let's be real, it starred Aaron Taylor Johnson playing as Isaac, because
featuring John Cena.
Yeah, basically, let's be real. So anybody who thinks of the movie probably immediately thinks of John Cena.
Yep.
Well, we're here to tell you that's not really the case.
And yeah, it turned out to be a really good thing, because the whole when we saw that on there and you're like, let's do the Wall, I was like, fuck me, this is gonna be a shitty John Cena movie. But then turns out, boom, he's out of the movie. He's in it like for maybe a total of 15 minutes, if
screen
that.
time of maybe about 10-15 minutes. Yeah. Not bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, John Cena could probably be a good actor, but that's not what he's known for, and no one's gonna see him that way.
And it just seemed like it was a really odd choice. Like, who's your sniper? The giant man?
Fucking dude.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I wouldn't know. I don't know snipers, but I mean, I don't feel like you'd have a guy the size of a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what they're trying to.
It was a clever play on it.
Yeah.
At least they mention it. They're like, he talks about him being so fucking big,
staring at his ass.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, right out the get go, we have Aaron Taylor Johnson, John Cena, and then the voice of Juba, who is Nakli, Nakli.
Probably not gonna say it right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, the movie came out in 2017 by Amazon Studios, which I honestly didn't know was actually a movie company.
That was strange.
So I decided to look that up, and I haven't heard of a lot of these. Wonder Wheel, The American Girl Story, Gringo, Last Flag, The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, featuring your man Ben Swallow. Just too good.
As soon as I saw that on there, it was kind of like, oh shit. I mean, it makes sense that Amazon would want to do their own studio, and they kind
of like Netflix does.
They do their own shows, like
their own shit.
The Grand Tour and stuff like that. And I was just like, I guess we can compare and contrast Amazon based off this movie versus Netflix.
They don't have much of a lineup at this point.
Yeah,
give them some time. Maybe they'll have better selections.
They definitely have the same budget running for them that Netflix has on some of the Netflix movies, and I mean, Netflix movies originals are a real mixed bag. Most of their movies I don't think are really that great, but their original TV shows are better.
You can get a few gold nuggets in their movie selection, but you got to sort through the list. Anymore, I'm noticing they're not keeping a lot of other shows. They're starting to flood it with all their own created stuff, which
that's what I'm talking about. Like the movies that they themselves make. I can't think of an actual a Netflix original movie that I was like, man, that was really good. But like their TV shows that they produce in-house are really good, and they pay for a bunch of stand-up shows.
Ridiculous Six, not the greatest movie. Bright,
not great.
Crouching.
Yeah, look how low some of those scores are.
The True Memoirs of an International Assassin.
That's with Doug from King of Queens.
Oh,
Makes sense as a zero.
Christ. And then they stole Adam Sandler and tried to resurrect his movie career when he's. Don't get me wrong. Maybe he had a chance, but he
doesn't care. Yeah, he just doesn't care enough. And I think this might prove that at least based on what we have to work off now for an Amazon movie, they make better movies than Netflix.
It's true, even though they have like maybe 7.
This movie was surprisingly not awful.
It wasn't. And I'm glad we watched it because I was just like, do I really want to watch Team America? You've seen it once. That's all you really need to do. And personally, that's my taste, my opinion. Doesn't make it right, but you know.
I feel like it's kind of one of those movies that probably doesn't hold up, and you just kind of want to keep the memory of what it was versus what it really is. Like all the jokes about Kim Jong-il. It's like it's now. Like I don't know.
It's aged, and I just don't want to go watching that extraordinarily long sex scene that just lagged up for work. Draws out for far too long.
I don't know. For whatever reason, I was never the biggest fan of that. Although I love South Park. Just for some reason, that movie never grabbed me. It was really weird to hear John Cena swear. Like the couple minutes he's in the movie, he drops a bunch of F-bombs, which I've heard him say before, but it's always weird. Always.
Because he's trying to be PG-13 usually.
Is this the first movie that we had that had a wrestler in a starring role?
In a starring role, yeah, I think so.
Because I mean, we watched Kevin Nash was in one before, but
Dead or Alive had
Kevin Nash.
Yeah, but I think that's the only one I can think of.
It's kind of mind blowing.
Congratulations, you checked another box on your. I hope we watch movies with so and such in it.
It's kind of crazy that you picked the movie that had the wrestler starring in it. What is this world coming to? It's a brave new year.
Next thing you're gonna tell me, you really liked Fifth Element.
Oh fuck, that's never happened.
Unfortunately,
never happened. That wall, I don't think, and I'm glad they kind of, I guess, they brought it back toward the end, but
tore it down.
It ain't stopping a bullet.
No,
and I'm glad it didn't, because as soon as you got behind that wall, I was like, fuck that wall.
I was anticipating popping more shots at the wall, honestly, the whole time, but I mean, that's what I would have done, but I guess this man was more into psychological thrillers, psychological warfare.
Torture, yeah.
Really fucking with our prey, per se. Anyway, no, so the thing, it starts off super quiet, and that's one thing that I'll have to say right out the bat that I really enjoyed about this film was the sound, the noise, the lack of a soundtrack, which was probably for the better. Really sets the tone and tension of what they're going through. But yeah, no, and then not to mention the realistic sound design of the guns.
Yeah, that was what you mentioned it when we were watching it too, and that was one of the first things I noticed. I was like, holy shit, they do the bullet whizzing by and then the boom. I was like,
There's
nice.
actually a bit to that. I was looking in here on the trivia portion because there was a man. Oh boy.
You know, it's weird that they get certain things like that right, but then there's other things that, and now for the life of me, I can't remember them. I just felt like I was watching. I was like, I don't think you do that. So how'd that one go? But
yeah, Nicholas Irving, a former U.S. Ranger sniper and the author of The Reaper, is a technical advisor on this project. And Irving was nicknamed the Reaper during his tour of duty in Afghanistan.
You know who that is?
Is that the guy who was on Demolition Range? That's
you
Nicholas
betcha.
Irving?
I'm pretty sure that's his buddy.
Let's Google this shit.
Yeah. And you can, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that, at least, like, let's be honest, I've got zero actual knowledge. Nice. You've got a slight bit more of knowledge just based from your time in the Navy. I was a range instructor, a range instructor, and all I dealt with was super small arms, nothing long range. We have M9 fucking Beretta pistols, we had your M16s, and your 50 cals and Mossenberg 500 shotguns that I'm familiar with. Yeah, what about the big boys?
What do you mean?
The big boys that were topside.
Yeah, no. 5-inch cannons was something different. We had torpedoes. We had 25mm cannons, but let's be real.
And I have a 22 pistol.
Pew, 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 pew. I have a 22 rifle.
Yeah. So if anyone out there was actually, in the service and knows about this and we say something stupid, just put it in the comments because we're fully aware that for the most part we know zero about it.
It's been a while since I've been in and I've never retained my knowledge because I haven't had a chance to use it. So
yeah,
you don't use it,
what you gonna
lose it.
Speaking of like the intro, I thought they did a pretty good job of kind of building the tension.
Oh yeah.
And part of this has to do with us already knowing, like from seeing the snippet, or not a full trailer, but a little preview thing, that John Cena gets shot. I guess we did watch a trailer at one point. So the whole time I was like, oh boy, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? And then just finally, right through the gut.
Ooh, gut shot of all shots too. I figured it was going to be one of those hero shots, but no, it's a debilitating gut shot. Right where the armor does not cover.
Let's see, and then he goes down. So Isaac decides to go out there and he's going to help him,
which is the stupidest thing I felt like immediately. But
I did really appreciate his serpentine motion. He's just kind of zigzagging. Like, that's exactly what I would try and do. I don't know if it would help at all, and it in his case didn't help.
With as pro as that guy was, probably not.
And I really like that he talked about it later, because I saw him, the first shot hit something on him. I was like, oh shit, he just hit some piece of his equipment. And then later, he got him in the leg. I don't remember seeing the shot that got him in his canteen.
Yeah, no, me neither. I guess it was one of the ones that I suspected missed, but maybe it hit.
Yeah.
So,
but he does shoot him in the radio, which comes back to be a pretty crucial plot point. And you can see the chunk of it go flying, the antenna of the radio. But what's the sniper's name? I just wrote him down as the sniper. Is it? Did you say it was Juba or
Juba?
I'm just gonna keep calling him Sniper. The sniper reminded me a lot of the one from Saving Private Ryan, which we also
almost watched.
Yeah, when he's up in the tower and he shoots Vin Diesel and he just leaves him as prey, trying to get someone to go help him.
Apparently that movie gets the sound design incorrectly with the sniper shots. I found out.
Interesting.
They have the whole bang bang hit. They don't do the bullet whiz crack.
That makes sense. I mean, it was a movie for its time.
It really was. One that was watched over and over and over.
So I'm really torn about the sniper in this movie.
Which one?
Not John Cena. What do they call him? The ghost or something like that?
Angel of Death.
The Angel of Death. Which, while I'm talking about this, do a quick check to see if this is based on a true story or not, or if it's just kind of.
I'm pretty sure it's glorified.
That's for sure.
Look at our dicks, America, but not really.
Yeah,
quite had an ending.
Not really. I liked him as a villain, because like he was really diabolical and really sinister, but like the whole thing seemed like it was a whole villain, like a big villain monologue.
Yeah,
like why didn't he just?
Because he was just kind of playing with him the whole entire time, where there was no, like he was just kind of sitting and waiting. Which I mean, maybe leads back to them from the get-go, because they said they were waiting there for 18 plus hours, and so,
he was there longer than that because of those the construction workers he shot and all that. But it doesn't. They kind of touch on it that he was a teacher, and the wall is part of a school that he's hiding behind. And he'd been trained by the American forces, but then they had shot him or something at some point.
That's what it sounded like. He said he got shot and then it still hurts.
Yeah,
I couldn't catch what happened.
But for someone who's as good as he is and as trained as he is, I don't get the purpose of, I'm gonna shoot these people so that they call in a new wave, and I'm gonna shoot them so that they call in a new wave, and I'm gonna leave this guy alive and play with him.
Because he was probably fucking with him. He actually wasn't a teacher. He very well could have been playing a whole story.
But even then, it just doesn't make sense why he would want to continually just have a new wave of people come in, Like, if he just had shot them, they would have still brought in probably people to see, hey, what happened here? And like, it just, I don't know. To think of how long he would have been up there and how much he would have had to plan all this out and how much food and rations he would have had and bullets, and it seemed like, as someone who is as good as he is, the longer he's there, the higher his risk of getting shot is, especially at the end.
There. Like he's never found. There's always, so somebody comes in to rescue, but there's no one there to tell him what's happening, and so.
Yeah, but I mean, he knows that this guy's alive, and he doesn't kill him. He leaves him alive for no real reason to me. I mean, for the plot purposes, he leaves him alive so he can. No, the whole time, the whole movie, he's leaving Isaac alive. And he's like picking up dialect and stuff from him so he can call in to get the next wave in. And it's just like, it doesn't really make sense why someone so trained would go that far just to do that. They didn't give him enough of a real reason to be like, I'm on a suicide mission and I'm just trying to take as many people as possible. It seems like he's just like, I just want to
be implied. Yeah, no, I'll agree on that one. There's no really context as to why he's doing what he's doing.
He's really evil, but he makes no sense.
Yeah. He's a dick, but makes no sense. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And that's why I'm so torn on him, because I do like his thought process is really crazy. Like the big moment that the movie for me took a turn. I was like, this might actually be not half bad, is when he's Isaac wakes up and he's talking to the guy on the comms, and he's like, I'm here, Matthews is down, we need extraction and all this stuff. And he finally catches on that he's actually talking to the sniper, and the sniper has been putting on an accent the whole time.
You cut through my camouflage.
Yeah, I put that exactly on here. You've seen through my camouflage. Why are we doing accents?
Because that's what he said.
That's true. And then, like, it makes no sense why he'd want to do it, but his thought process of how to get that done was really cool. Because then after he talks with him, he's like, I want you to keep talking to me. And he picks up not just the accent, but also the lingo and how he talks. It's like, we're getting baked out here and all that kind of stuff to help bring in the next wave. I thought that was really good.
Just to kind of layer on top of his already existing camouflage.
Yeah, I just wish he had
more context.
Or just not
purpose.
Yeah, like if they had him more specifically say, like, I have no reason left to live, or something along those lines, to I'm just going to keep doing this until someone gets me, and I'm going to stay here until that happens. I think it would have been better, but
I feel like they would have just been laying it out too obvious, though.
But they didn't lay anything
to be ambiguous.
Out. It's fuck. We'll talk about that later. You talked about something before. I feel like I just ranted on that guy.
Well, after pulling up, seeing if it's based on a true story, it's absolutely not. But they call this film a horror film. Which I could see it maybe a psychological horror in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it's not your traditional, like, hide in the shadows, something gonna pop out. But I mean, if you think about it, it is a fucking horrific situation being behind that wall for a while, thinking that your buddy's dead and you're out there alone, and this dude knows where you're at.
Ground beef.
Knowing that you're gonna die one way or another, either bleeding out or being shot by this guy who is known to be, like, the best sniper. He's got, like, over
75
20
confirmed kills or some shit like that. No, I honestly, I was expecting it to be more of an action film, and then actually watching it, it wasn't half bad, only because I tend to enjoy the psychological thrillers, because there's more of a I wouldn't say deeper meaning, but there's more to it than just this is what's happening. So granted, yes, our villain didn't have much of a reasoning or backstory, but that overlooking that, the cinematography of the film itself, though, I believe was actually done pretty well. It was pretty decent. Story lacking, but the shots and how it was all kind of put together was pretty good. Like I said, I'm giving so much ups to the sound designer of this one, just because that's the one thing I noticed. There's a lot of really good just silence, whereas if you're out in the middle of fucking nowhere, you feel empty, you feel alone. So obviously that's what you're just gonna hear wind, and that's all you hear during the entire film. It's just a lot of wind and a lot of rustling about, which is essentially during that peaked heightened moment. That's all you're gonna hear, not even your own thoughts. And then you have this guy who's just talking into your ear, saying, "I'm gonna blow your face off. I'm gonna gouge your eyes out and staple your tongue to your chest." Whoa, dude.
And he kept being like, should I shoot Matthew's face off? Should I do that?
Does he have a family? They're not going to recognize him after I'm done with him.
Stuff like that. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm really torn on it.
My favorite note that I put in here was, and this is where the chess games begin between the local and the yokel. Mr. Southern accent there, Isaac. Oof.
Which he actually did a really good job with that. I don't know if that's his actual accent or not, but I mean, I know if you got your computer there and you were kind of looking at stuff. I don't know if you saw what else he is in, but he's Quicksilver in the Marvel universe.
Yep.
So in that one, he does a Russian accent. So his ability to go back and forth between those was pretty good.
He was in Kick-Ass, I suppose. I don't remember that though. Godzilla, the 2014 one.
No, he's like legitimately, he is Kick-Ass.
Oh yeah.
You said you don't remember. You just not remember the movie Kick-Ass.
I don't remember the movie Kick-Ass.
Oh well, he plays the main character. Talking about like the kind of the chess game to it. It was a lot of like cat and mouse. Like
I was waiting for him to try doing the pop up the head thing and then pop back down, but I was like, that would have been too good. That like he wouldn't have done anything. He would have been there for hours.
He did try and eventually do the helmet on the thing, and
the dude just chuckles at his efforts. Like, yeah, I'm not fucking stupid.
It was kind of interesting, like the way it's shot. The majority of it is all from Isaac's side of the wall. There are a couple shots from the sniper's point of view, and you can see his scope and kind of what he's checking on. But it is really well done how they kind of show you what his problem is, and then you get to see Isaac try and find the solution to that problem. So
there's so many times where he was going to start something and he never finished it. Like when he was going to grab the radio with the stick and the wire, like he started putting together like a hook looking thing, and then he just never went through with it. Instead, he abandoned that idea and went to the next idea.
Yep.
And so, like, you could see him trying to work out all his issues, but never actually following through with some of them because he just has that change of heart. And also, I guess, slowly losing blood, you start probably going crazy.
Right, and I would assume that he's also dealing with the dude in his ear the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
But he's definitely good at deciding this isn't worth it and just going on to the next step. I liked that he was initially just like, I gotta find him, and then once he figured out generally where he's from, he was like, shit, now I gotta get this, I gotta get that. He was able to, it didn't always work, so like the helmet thing didn't fucking work whatsoever. He just got laughed at and the helmet fell over. The weird, like the hook thing he was trying didn't work whatsoever. But then he made himself the rope with the stick
on
to
the end
pull
of
the sniper.
rifle.
He was able to use the dirt to kind of do the math to figure out where he's located.
That one I didn't know if he followed so much through with. Like, I guess he was looking around, and I guess he was maybe trying to pinpoint what general direction he was getting shot from.
Yeah,
but
and, like,
I don't know. I
distance.
felt like there was more to it that he was trying to do, but it felt a little too far.
Yeah.
From his limited point of view, there's only so many spots, and so.
And it was all based on like his recollection of in the moment what happened.
But I
then
suppose he
hearing
was
the
trying to do
clanging-
the calculations to tell his buddy Matthews. But yeah, no, that sound scene, I'm gonna spoil it out there right now and skip that one. For my favorite scene was actually just that scene when he's piecing it together, where he found out the scene, where the sound was coming from. Like, that was genius.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't know in that situation if I would have thought of that.
Yeah, I don't know. And he's
in that moment in time.
in some moments he's really clever with the walkie, and in other moments not so much, because he'll get frustrated and just start yelling like "fuck you" and calling him all sorts of names. Then as soon as he figures out something, he's like, hey, you there?
That's your rising tension and your fucking action clanking.
I feel like part of that, I don't know, it's tough because we're seeing what he's thinking and the sniper's not, but I feel like someone as good as the sniper would have been like, why you want to talk now? What are you trying to do? Like when John Cena is not dead.
You're right.
And he comes back to life, and then he starts saying we, and it's like, what do you, I would have been like, what do you mean we? What do you mean we? But I mean, even John Cena coming back to life, like, I didn't think this movie would do it, but it made me root for John Cena.
A little bit, yeah.
Like when just because he's such an asshole, like fucking with him and shooting him and not killing him. I was like, Jesus, you know what? Fuck, do it, Cena. Kick out at 2 and give him an attitude adjustment.
God damn it. The one thing I didn't quite follow / understand / why he carries around the scope, because he fucked up with being a like, was he the sniper and his pal was the spotter, or
No, he was
because he
Actually,
mentioned that he
yeah.
didn't want to shoot anymore, and that's why he became the spotter.
Yeah, so because if it's David's scope or
Dean's. You
Some
should
Dean.
remember that. You like Dean.
If it's his viewfinder, sight, whatever they want to call it.
He said it was a dead man's scope.
So if it's his, that would mean Dean would have been his spotter. Which I guess I didn't know that the spotter is the one that actually goes to confirm the kill physically, which is kind of odd.
I didn't know that either. Yeah,
But it makes sense because the spotter has a weapon more aimed for being closer to people, like
medium to short range.
Yep. And he says that the guy he shot was playing possum, and then he tried to give cover fire, but apparently they were too close and hit Dean instead, which killed him.
Oh, so he shot his. Yeah, okay.
Yep. So he put a bullet through Dean, and he said he lied and told everyone that the other guy had killed him, and the only person he had told the truth to was the sniper, which is kind of an interesting exchange between the two. They did a really good job of giving. I don't know. It's the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, shitty movie, really good movie, and it's like somewhere in the middle, because they do bring up a lot of interesting points.
Are you just really torn and very biased because John Cena's in it?
Well, not even that.
You
It's just
hate it because he's in it.
Not even that. It's just that there's certain things that the entirety of the villain, and the whole thing there just really takes it down notches. But
Maybe had the movie been 2 hours long, maybe they would have fleshed it out more.
Maybe. And it did go by pretty quick, but I feel like they have a lot of interesting discussions that they can start with that movie, like why people keep going back even though the war is over.
Yeah.
And they keep bringing that up, the war's over, why are you still here? Both of them say it to each other. And they kind of talk about things that I've definitely heard people talk about, like readjusting civilian life and how it's not going to work, and then you find out he's the one that killed Dean and he has to lie to everybody, which is another reason why he'd want to come back and get away from those people. But I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff in that aspect on this movie. And they kind of even, like, they represent two different, I guess, ideas in life. So the sniper does everything based off of what he knows to be true, whereas Matthews and Isaac do everything based off of what they assume to be true or what they believe to be true.
They're told.
Yeah, and they, like, the sniper even says that at one point. He's like, I know you're shooting this gun because you've got 7.62, and he's like, you only assume that to be true. You don't know it to be true. And it's kind of it's an interesting idea, the two different paths.
Duality.
Kind of the two different ways you can look at life.
And just a heads up, this is taking place in 2007, when Mr. U.S. Bush George W. Bush sent the U.S. troops to fight in Iraq. So it's during the time when everyone's like, why the fuck are we doing this to begin with? Before it got really heavy into ISIS. At least from what I recall. I'm not a historian, nor do I keep up as closely as maybe I should. But
yeah, because at that point they're like, come on, man, why are we still there?
We're just there for WMDs, and then it turned into a bigger shit show.
Yep. And I'm glad they didn't go too big into, like, making a big point of, like, should we have been there, should we not have been there? They slowly kind of touch on it with, like, the oil pipeline they're doing. They're like, money for who? Money for our people? No, money for your people. And then that's kind of it. And they kind of drop it, which I was glad, because I just
don't want to hear a political rant about what's good and what's bad, what's right and what's wrong. I hear you.
I mean, movies are fully okay to do that, but this isn't the movie I want to see do that.
They focus more on the psychological warfare aspect of it, and then that's kind of where I believe the horror aspect of it falls into. There's not a lot of action. You get your action when they're, like, running around, but then it quiets down in a sense while the tension is building the entire time. And so
there's a good steady ramp, but it kind of dips down just enough. And I'm glad they focus more on like the personnel, not the idea of the war. Like, they're way more about
that's their story, not the story as a whole.
Correct.
Gotcha. What else do I have on here? That's about it, honestly. Other than how the ending kind of took me, I wouldn't say for a surprise. I was kind of anticipating there being some sort of, did he actually get him or not? But yeah.
Which, I mean, it all makes sense. I mean, with him being the sniper, knowing the calculations and all that.
2 helicopters, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's when it got a little too Call of Duty for me.
And that's one thing I was worried about. If towards the end of the movie it was going to start taking that plummet of we have to finish this type of feel where they just kind of rush everything together. And I mean, at some point you do have to end a film, but still, like, there's kind of proper ways to doing it. Don't ask me how I would have ended it, because I have no idea. I don't have that experience. But from that aspect, I've just noticed a lot with a lot of films that are really good in that beginning, your middle, and then the end just kind of doesn't justify the goodness of the beginning and the middle.
A lot of movies drop the ball at the end. Which, I mean, depending on how much they drop the ball, can either make or break the movie.
True.
And Skittles product placement. I just want to throw that out there.
Skittles.
Had to get that in there. I had a note.
3 bags of Skittles in that entire film.
I don't know if you have anything else you want to talk about, but you've kind of brought in my what the fuck moment, and it was the ending. So, just to lay it out, the sniper at this point has got on the comm system and is talking with the rescue squad that would be thinking that they're talking to Isaac. At this point, he knows enough about Isaac, Matthews, what their rank is, what all that is, why they're there, what the coordinates are, and he knows enough to kind of mimic Isaac's voice. And so they're like, we're coming to get you. And then he's yelling at them because he knows that once they come in, he starts piecing together that he shot this crew so that these people come in, and then he shot them so that these people will come in, and he's starting to figure out the cycle. And he's like saying, if you shoot them, I'll know where you're at and I'll shoot you. So you see the helicopters coming in, and he pushes down the wall, and the sniper's
Goes
like
for broke essentially.
yeah, and the sniper's like shooting at looking at the helicopters, looking at him, and he pops the shot at him, which misses, and he takes the shot back, and it goes right towards where the flash came from, and then there's just nothing, and he stands up as the helicopters are landing and the people run up to him, and you just hear the building almost like the flashbang like squeal or whatever it would be, and then nothing happens. And it's like, oh, nice, you got him. And then they put him on the helicopter, and then they take him away. And then he's putting on the mask, and he's talking to him, and you just hear,
And then you see one of the medic guys fall over, and then it's just like, oh, god damn it.
and that's where I rolled my eyes, and I was like, fucking really? And then he takes out the guy that he's yelling at. He's in the garbage. He takes that guy out, and then fucking shoots the pilot, takes them down. Then you see just the wreckage of the two helicopters, that this one dude had the angle at all times to kill all these people. It's just so fucking stupid that he was able to do that. And it's not even the unbelievable, what's the word? The unbelievable nature of the ending. It's the fact that it's become such a fucking cliche lately that you have to end your movie with a twist. Oh wait, they didn't get him moment.
Right.
Like when I was younger, I always wanted to see a movie where the bad guy won, and now that that's all they're making, it just fucking irritates me.
Saturated.
It's like Life was the same way. Like, oh man, they stopped it. Oh nope, it was on the shuttle
the whole time.
That ballistic
You called it,
short
and I was
film.
so pissed that you called that on Life. I was so excited for that movie.
It's just getting to that point that movies, unless they're like a big blockbuster or some sort of like obviously a kids movie, like any movie that's trying to be a horror movie or that's trying to be like a thriller or a gritty movie, it's like the bad guy gets him at the end and you didn't see it coming, except for I fucking see it coming every time. It's so played out,
Unfortunately. And that's the one thing I kind of like about some films that I don't know if it would be technically that, but As Above So Below, like they get away, but there is no actual like, ooh, but they're the bad guy or whatever, like. And it's pretty decently, I think.
And it makes sense from like storytelling standpoint. They literally faced their demons, and that was what let them get out. This guy sat through all this shit, finally got his shot to redeem himself for missing his shot, and for Dave fails. All these other people die. He dies. The whole thing. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be some like commentary on how war isn't always fair and it's not the way you want it to go, but I'm like, you fucking spent this entire movie making me actually like this guy just to have him die because we're edgy and that's life.
In the end, it doesn't even matter.
And I see there that originally the film had less ambiguous ending where he was rescued and the sniper was killed. They should have just fucking kept it.
There probably has an alternate ending if you get the DVD or whatever extra special features crap, but
to me that's almost the equivalent of the opposite route that they could have gone, where it's too happy of an ending, where it's like John Cena wasn't dead the whole time, he just shot him in the shoulder. It can go both ways, and I think I think that's the biggest reason why I'm so torn, because I did like the majority of the movie, but the ending pissed me off so much that I'm just like, I don't think I could recommend this movie.
I recommend it for those that just want to see something that's relatively good, maybe a good pass the time type of stuff. But honestly, if you're looking for something really good to write home about, I'll give it a pass. Maybe a one-time viewing. It wouldn't be something I'd watch again.
No, I'm glad we rented that and not bought it.
Absolutely.
What was your what the fuck moment?
I'm pretty sure we just went over that. Yeah, when the guy starts to find out why he's as good as he is and figures out how he managed to get so many kills. So basically when he picks up that radio and he starts listening to that secondary conversation, that kind of was like, oh, shit. I knew there was more to it than that after he starts piecing together how he managed to get the security people and whatnot, but like, I didn't expect it that it was going to be everybody I've killed, I've gained more information to further deepen my camouflage into this garbage pile and like radio. That's why I think when he asks about the challenge word, I don't know if it's anything you're familiar with, but essentially, I don't know if I can talk about it too much, but a challenge word is, hey, is this true? tell me. I guess they say it in some of the war movies.
It's like a code word, basically.
When they say like Cracker Jack and the guy's supposed to have a specific response back, like
Flash.
Yeah, that's what it is. Flash, thunder. Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure you can talk about
that's
that
what they're
top
looking
secret
for.
CIA guy.
But hey man, I don't want to get in trouble.
You're out now. What are they gonna do?
I had a clearance. But no, that was my what the fuck moment for sure.
My favorite scene. These are all. It's weird because all of our what the fucks and favorite scenes are all kind of intertwined. My favorite scene is the first time when he's talking on the comms and he's pretending to be the support, and then it turns out that it is.
I kind of felt like that was going to happen. It was just if he couldn't reach out to, like, he had to have an extended wave radio to reach out to further people, like using that short wave radio. I was like, you're not going to find anybody if you're a sniper group. I don't think you're going to be close to anybody. Then again, it could be wrong.
Right.
They were operate, so
I think part of why I liked it too is before it happened, you like jokingly called out, "Oh, he's dead the whole time," and it's like 47 meters down where we're just living out this like weird fever dream before he dies. I was like, God damn it, please don't be that. And he's gonna. But then it's like, nope, he was fucking with him. This is reality. It's like, okay, that was actually really good.
Good on that. Yep.
So that ended up being my favorite scene because it does really feel like one long scene.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. It's all a very contained story and really smart movie making.
They
You could have just
they
gone
break
after
it
the
up by
California
every
desert.
time someone passes out, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's your span of time. Is the dude passed out for a few hours? I still want to know what he wrote on the tourniquet. I'm not entirely sure why. Because like when he applied it, he wrote something on the tag, and I can't quite remember. I don't. In my previous schooling, I don't remember what you're supposed to write on there. I do know though when you get sent in for like medic stuff that you put a T on their forehead, so you know the medics know that there's a tourniquet applied at so and such. But as far as timeline, maybe there's something specific for it. I don't know. But yeah, no. Who was your MVP?
Did you do your favorite scene?
Yeah, I talked about my favorite scene. This is when he was. Oh, I guess.
You kind of did, yeah.
Yeah, when he's looking, when he's looking for the sniper dude, and he used the sound. Yeah, what I talked about earlier, using the banging and the trash heap. That was easily my favorite scene, just because he's taking into consideration his whole entire surroundings, and what he has to go off of is essentially just this guy's voice. Like, there's nothing else he has to go off of, other than where he was hitting a trajectory arc and a generalization of where he could be.
My MVP was Aaron Taylor Johnson. Like,
Of the few cast members that are in this movie, you have like two to choose from.
yeah, it was either between him or the sniper. I thought about John Cena for a split second just because the movie made me like him. Then I was like, well, it's more the movie than it was him. And then I started thinking about how much I didn't like the sniper's plan. It seemed really like convoluted and kind of contrived, and honestly, just it's silly. But then I started thinking about, you spend the majority of this movie with Aaron Taylor Johnson, and it still feels like it goes by fairly quickly. Like, you don't get tired of him. His mannerisms, his dialect is funny. Hey, motherfucker!
Fight me.
Fight me. That was so good. He's just talking to himself at one point. He's like, just shoot me. Fuck it, I'll shoot myself. It got to the point where I was cheering for that guy. I felt bad for that guy. I was mad for that guy. And then
they do a really good job of getting into his frustrations, putting you into his frustrations.
Yeah. So he was easily my MVP. And then when I found out what other movies he was in, I was like, God damn, he's pretty good.
I guess I didn't know he was the lead in Kick-Ass. That was I guess I completely spaced that one. It's been a long time since I've seen that film.
Right.
Too. My MVP, being as there's only a few people, I'm picking the sound designer. All that brilliance that was put into it, for being as focused and narrow of a location, that is kind of the one thing you can play on to make a movie better. They did a really good job at it. I mean, there's no extravagant scenes. There's no traveling different places. You are in this one spot, this one shitty spot, and that's it. And so if you're going to get something right, at least get the sound right on it.
And honestly, that's the biggest like unsung hero of any movie is the sound design. Like, if I had it explained to me that people will watch subpar video quality, but if the audio is just a little bit off or like kind of grating or anything like that, they will immediately shut that video or that movie off. And in a movie where like it's very, very contained, very, I don't want to say nothing going on because there's a lot going on. Yeah. But
There's not a lot going on visually.
Right. There's so few other things that can clue you in on what's happening or that can give you the feeling of being there. They did such a good job of that.
I'm actually in a class right now for sound, so just even better.
Yeah. So that team did a really good job.
Easily. Other than that, I guess that's all that I have for all my notes and my jazzy jazz. So, yeah. Stay tuned for the 15th, hopefully maybe the 15th, we'll see what happens. For our second film, we have a couple in mind, I suppose. Do you want to spoil that, or we want to keep that a mystery?
Or
do we want to leave it up to a vote?
No, fuck these people, it's my turn. I dealt with your shitty America month. I want a guns month.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch Heat.
Oh my god, that would have been so good.
So I'm currently still trying to decide, because I mean, one of them I think is way more obvious, like America, and that would be Rocky IV, where he fights Ivan Drago and it's USA versus Russia, and it's, you know, still very current today. But then there's also another option that I think is a much better movie, and I know you have not seen it.
I'm gonna side with that one because I've been kind of wanting to watch it.
Yeah, and it's set in America, and it's very much about capitalism and a lot of things that are American at heart, and that would be There Will Be Blood, and I think I'm gonna go that route.
I'll back you up on that one. I'd be excited to actually watch that one. I don't know how we're gonna set the table for that one though.
It's a man chasing the American dream. I also thought about Fear and Loathing just because of that. But I think we'll do There Will Be Blood, because you haven't seen it.
Get some quarts of oil to put out on the table. Because I ain't bleeding for this table.
We can get milkshakes.
What?
You'll see. You'll see.
Okay. Anyway, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Welcome to the new anniversary of our
year 2.
Year 2. Hopefully it's a better one. I mean, we aim to improve. We aim to better ourselves. So
we're already starting off with craziness with you picking the movie with the wrestler. Year 2.
And it was actually kind of surprisingly good, anticipating it being bad. So onward to better things. Thank you for watching. Take care.